Hi Flosstube, it's Rebecca. I am the Route 66 Stitcher. It is Sunday, January 30th, and this is Flosstube number 6 for me. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate all of the support and kind comments that I get. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a channel mainly about cross stitching, but I do other kinds of needlework as well. In fact, I have a couple other things to show today. So let's get right to it. It's been almost a month since my last one. We've had people out at work. I am one of a department of 5, and the other 4 have been out with COVID-related stuff this past couple weeks, so it's been really busy for me, so I don't have a whole lot to show. So let's get right down to it. I have some full finishes, and the first one I have to show is A Peaceful Pondering by Meridian Designs. And there we go. The light's a little better in this direction right now. Peaceful Pondering, Meridian Designs, and this is actually a pattern and kit. This was a kit that was one of the round robin kits from Needlework Galleria of 2021. And here she is, all finished. She turned out really, really, really cute. Come on. Oh, you want to autofocus all the time except when I want you to. There you go. All right, and lily pad with the flower, all of the beadwork. Meridian Designs just knocked this out of the park with this pattern, and then the bottom with all of the butterflies and the flowers. Just fantastic. I'm so happy that this one, I've been wanting to finish it for quite some time. It's been in the WIP file for process for a long period of time, and I'm just really excited to have that finished. It's so stinking cute. Another Needlework Galleria project, and this was a class that I took that I've mentioned before. I took a beginning Hardanger, there we go, embroidery class. This was by Julie, Designs by Julie, and it was a class, so this was not a round robin, and it was making this little pin keep kind of sewing kit thing. And I have finally finished this class project. Of course, she even made the little bag. She said she was really bored during the shutdowns, that she did a lot of sewing, and I got a lot of stuff done, and the bags were one of the things. It was kind of like, well, that's just great. And here she is, and she's done. How about that? You'll notice it's a little bit different than the pattern. The pattern actually has these little knot things right here. Oops, right there. Those little knots, the 4 little knots, those are called picots. And I have come to an executive decision that anytime a pattern needs a picot, it's not going to be done. I'm either going to substitute it with something else, or I'm just going to wrap the bars and it's going to be over. Another change I made was, instead of just putting this directly onto the silver top, I actually put some green wool that I had, just little itty bitty pieces of green wool behind it. And so this is done. Julie herself had already put all of the fabric and stuffing and ruched ribbon and finished the inside of the pin keep. And it's now this class is a full finish. And so that's done. All right. Something I was working on last time that basically just required me putting in the Bigfoot people. Really? There we go. Bigfoot Bunch. Voila. Is a finish. It's not a full finish, but I actually finished up the Bigfoot people. So there we go. Another one goes into the pile to be completed. I have another, the round robins. I got a lot of stuff in round robins that I still haven't completed. I probably have 7 or 8 more kits in there that are on the list to be done, and I'm just kind of grabbing them at random and working through them. And one of the ones that I grabbed and worked through, and I have a finish on, not a fully finished, but finish on, is the Initially Autumn, a kit from the Purple Thread, which is a scissor fob. It's a little itty bitty miniature wooden horn book with Autumn, the pumpkins on the front, and then on the back of the horn book was the initial, whatever initial you wanted to put there. Or if you didn't want to put an initial there, you could have actually stitched something else. And it's all held together. Those two pieces are held onto the horn book with beads. You stitch through the holes on the horn book and through the beads and keep doubling back through, and it holds it on. And so in my usual style, the horn book itself and the beads, all the stuff except for the floss and the linen were still in this box while I was stitching. And I remember it as being a very tiny horn book. And so when I started stitching it over 2, and the directions did not say in any way, shape, or form over 1, over 2. It just said stitch. And when I started stitching over 2, I was like, this is way too big, way too big. So I stitched them over 1. And I was like, well, you know something? That's really stinking cute. I'm going to stitch another one of those because I obviously have plenty of material. And I'll just whip stitch the 2 sides together and make a charm out of it and hang it from something, you know, because it's really tiny and it's just really, really cute. And when I finished them and then I went back to the horn book, took the horn book out of the box, it became very apparent that I should have been stitching over 2 the entire time. So I had to go back and do it again. And now I'm in a position where I'm actually going to have to be very, very careful as I cut this out and finish that up with the horn book. So what else? I don't have anything else that's finished or to show you, but I do have some WIPS. This is the Peppermint Purple 2022 Blackwork WIP, and I'm actually staying up to date with it. She has 2 options right now. Hold, please. There we go. 2 options right now. Come on. You could either do the straight blackwork or you could do the blackwork with cross stitch. So she's putting up 2 different patterns each week. I'm choosing whatever speaks to me in the moment that I'm stitching it. Sometimes it's the cross stitch. I have about half and half going on right now. And I have them in, actually started up in this corner, and she's actually suggested the layout starting in the middle. So this is going to be very unique for everybody that's going through this stitch as to how it's going to end up. It'd be interesting to see how many cross stitch versus black stitch only I have at the end of the year. Black stitch speaks to me, but then again, I really like the cross stitch as well. And again, this is the Peppermint Purple Blackwork SAL. And then I actually got this beast out of the Bad Project Closet. And I got another 10 vertical rows done on this. There we go. And this is actually with all of the called for DMCs. And it is on an 18 count Ada called Galaxy from Mystic Fabrics. And I figured out why I'm hating it so much. Number one, I don't like full coverage and I don't like confetti, which this is all of that plus some. But I made the mistake of starting to stitch this as a 2/1, and 2 for this 18 count is way too heavy. And it's actually kind of a challenge to get it 4 threads through those holes. At this point in time, it took me, again, this long to figure that out. But at this time, I'm certainly not ripping it out and starting over. I figure I'll do about, 5 or 6 vertical rows every now and then, and I'll get it finished sometime, 4 years after I die. All right, and I'm sorry. That was rather rude. This is Northern Lights by Stitchrovia. Northern Lights by Stitchrovia. I've also been working on the embarrassing amount of Moo the Merriers that I have, still waiting to be done from 2020. So I can start on the embarrassing amount of Meow the Merriers I have waiting to be done. And this is Ink Circles. This is Hey Diddle and Slick Fiddle. Hey Diddle and Slick Fiddle. And I am using the Sulky pack, the Moo the Merrier collection for this, and you'll notice some are missing. I'll explain why in a bit. And one of the things I wanted to do was make this one. So I've done a little bit of finessing to make it, actually it's going this way on the fabric. Did a little bit of finessing to the pattern, and I've changed some colors around to get it all on one. I apologize, there's a big old wrinkle down the middle of this. There we go. I have Slick Fiddle completed with the exception of the stars, and I have a few more trees to go, smaller trees to go on Hey Diddle. And then all that's left is hanging the stars and the moon and the cow in the sky. There's really not much left going on. I did change right here, right there. Instead of rounding off, I did a slope down so it integrates better. I changed the houses to a pink color instead of the white. The pink was the only color not used in Slick Fiddle that was used in Hey Diddle. And I changed this one to a yellow, the yellow that was in Slick Fiddle, because it was the only color used in Slick Fiddle but not Hey Diddle. So I kind of tried to blend the colors as best I could between the two. And this is, again, using the Sulky Moo the Merrier pack, the called fors. And this is on a 28 count linen, opalescent linen, called Dreamy by Mystic Fabrics. And I've talked before about when I did the blue flowers, Moo the Merrier, about how I really wasn't a huge fan of how these stitched, and it took me, I don't know where my brain's been, but it took me a while to figure out, in fact it took me until this week to figure out that these are 12 count pearl cottons. They're not a regular floss. These are a pearled cotton, right? And the 12 weight should have actually been the tick off, and actually looked at some of these and compared them to the Valdani 12 weights that I have in pearled cotton, and go, yeah, no, they're pearled cotton. which means that they actually went up in my estimation. I can use them for punch needle. I can use them for Hardanger work. I can use them for a lot of things that I really wasn't liking how they laid for cross stitch. But they will actually make a great satin stitch. So, having said all that, I have been using them for other things. I am working on a punch needle right now. It's a work in progress. This is called Miss Prudence, and this is coming out of the Spring Punch Needle and Primitive Stitch magazine, 2021, and this is by the Two Old Crows, and you can actually get this pattern if you don't get the magazine or subscribe to it or buy it regularly. You can get this pattern on their Etsy site. And I am using, oh please, and she's big. She's really big. Boop, sorry. And again, this is sign being punched on with the pattern drawn out. I have all of these flowers still left to do, and of course fill in all of her fur. But the colors that you're seeing there, I used the Sulkies from the Moo the Merrier kit. All of the colors here, all of them on her so far, are actually all the Sulkies from the Moo the Merrier kit. Here's what she looks like on the front so far. She's coming along. And this is hand-dyed weaver's cloth in Robin's Egg Blue from the Bonny Bee. So again, I won't be punching her background. I'll be just using the colored weaver's floss. And for those of you who don't do punch needle, this is really normal to see it kind of loose and stuff sticking out until you actually pack in another row around it. There you go. She's coming together. She's coming together. Miss Prudence. She's a lot bigger than I thought she was going to be, so she's going to take some time. So what do I have in terms of stash? I don't really have a lot of stash. I'm on stash probation. Both of my cats need dental. So that's, yeah, not going to be cheap. And I've decided to make a concerted effort. I'm at the point where I'm buying things 2 or 3 times just because I don't know that I already have them. So a lot of my, if I have disposable income, it's going to be going on organization. I've actually ordered some pegboards to put up in the bad project closet, and so I can see things and stuff like that. So that's where the money's going for right now, is on cat teeth and organization. I do, of course, have my Fiberlicious Fiber Silk of the Month Club that came in for January, this January Moonlight Sonata. And just beautiful, beautiful shades of blue. So that came in. And then with the Robin's Egg Weaver cloth, I also got some more colored weaver's cloth from the Bonny Bee. Come on. You always want to focus when I don't want you to. What is with you? My webcam is work provided from when we were all working from home, and it's a really high-end autofocus kind of thing, but it's really good for showing up close stitching and some of the work and patterns, but man, it is so touchy. And so Peony, I actually hoped that the sunshine had been a little bit brighter. It's more of a mellow yellow than I'd hoped, but she does have other colors that she's constantly adding to her site. So, and again, if you embroider at all, do any surface embroidery, these are not, weaver's cloths, just not for punch needle. They're actually really, really good for surface embroidery as well. So what am I working on next? I actually pulled another Needlework Galleria Round Robin Kit. And this is from JBW Designs. So, and it's, I believe, like a 20 by 30-ish stitch. So that should come together really well. I'm working on getting all of those finished. And another thing that I'm working on that I was going to start last night, and I found myself still sitting there about 9 p.m. and went, obviously, I don't feel like stitching tonight. But hopefully it's on the agenda for today. And that is Crowns of the Kingdom. And I feel like I've seen this stitched by, it's how I knew about it, right? It was one of those things that I think I saw a 911 stitcher. I think Stacy did this. Maybe Gerald Ginger Stitcher? I don't know. I feel like I've seen a couple floss tubers do this. And then I was out, this was pre-COVID, I was out driving Route 66 trying to get used to my new area and seeing what's on Route 66, why it's such a big deal. So I was doing some road trips and I ended up in Tulsa and went by the Silver Needle, of course, because Tulsa, why wouldn't you go by the Silver Needle? And I walked in the door and it was sitting right directly in front of me, kind of up, angled up, and it was done and it was absolutely gorgeous. And it's like, yeah, I have to do that. I purchased the treasure braid, the called for treasure braid, some of it while I was there with the pattern, but I didn't know what I was going to do it on in terms of fabric. And then I actually got in the mail, boom, this. And this is 25 count Fox and Rabbit Mortar. And this is one of the sample pieces that they put on, and you can tell it's 25 count. You can tell how it's kind of loose weave. And this was one of the ones that I scored when my cat woke me up in the middle of the night, and they had put some samples and some seconds on their website, and they'd made an announcement. And I was able to score it, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to stitch on it. And boom, there we go. Antique silver, high gloss black, and high gloss gold. The copper really sucked. Can't say that enough. So I'm going with some blues instead. Some teal blues instead on this. And these teal blues, this is really kind of cool. So it's a deep turquoise, water blue, and then sky blue are the names of these three. And then this, which is called Morning Water, is actually a variegation of the water blue, sky blue, and the silver. Get my fingers off that, I'd help, huh? It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Wow, camera. Really? And so those are the substitutes for the copper. I might use all of them. I might decide that I'm only using one of them. I have no idea how I'm going to work through that yet. But that's where I'm at. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a month. I'm sure it's been a month for a lot of people. Everybody out at work is out. They're either sick themselves or positive, and or their children are positive. You know, all of our parents who are dealing with K through 12 and trying to stay home with their kids. The parents right now have a very, very, very heavy load, and I don't envy them one bit. So helping pick up some of their burdens from work has been my priority, because I certainly don't have that going on. And those of you out there who are not only parents and having to deal with all of that, but are caregivers to other relatives or other people, wow, hats off. I really don't know how you're doing it. Starting into in 2 months, we'll be going into our 3rd year of this. So just keep fighting the good fight. All right. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you.